we've got a Preppin data from Thomas, one of the data school consultants here, and thank you very much, Thomas, for this challenge. Very interesting data that you chose for us to work with. So first of all, if we go to the life expectancy, I decided to rename that column that tells us the life expectancy at birth, just because it was quite long before that, so I made a quick change there to rename that. And then having a look at this data, we can see that we've got entity, which seemed a strange name, but we only have to come to the second value here to see that we've got Africa, whereas the rest are all looking like countries. And so we've got countries and continents currently in the same field. So how about we kind of split that up into having our countries, our continents, and being able to kind of compare the life expectancy of countries to their continents. So that's the aim that we're working towards here. So we have this data that lets us look up the country and continent kind of relationships. So if we join that quickly with the country equal to the to the entity, then we see that we lose our continents from our entity field, but that's okay, because down here we're going to aggregate our continents so that we just have one row for each continent here, and then join on the continent to the entity, so that we're bringing through just the continents only. And therefore we can rename these life expectancy fields to the country life expectancy and the continent life expectancy. And then we can just join these two streams back together on the year and on the continent, and then we can have a lot more information there. We're going to do a left join here so that we keep in as much data as possible there. But then actually, to be honest, once we've removed a couple of fields that are duplicated there, then we're just going to filter our year to be from 1950 to 2020. So if I do that filter and choose range of values, then I can just select the years that I'd like to keep. So I've just added in that filter again. I'll remove that there. But now we're working with a sort of smaller data set. We can see that it's very uniform as well for every single country that we have. We have all of these 71 years included, which is great. So now we can start doing a little bit more analysis as the challenge asks us to do. So we can look at which countries for each year are above or below the life expectancy of the continent. So we can just write a simple if statement here. So if our country life expectancy is greater than the continent life expectancy, then give us a 1, else give us a 0. So the 1 will mean that it is above. And I'm going to come back to this percentage change in a moment. The reason that we did it as a 1 and 0 basically is that if we group by each country and just bring in the continent for further information, then we can just sum up that above continent average field, and then we know the number of years that that country was above the continental average life expectancy. We can also use the number of rows. That is always automatically generated. So if I just remove this quickly, then we can see over here on the left hand side the number of rows is always there. That will just tell us how many years there were in total for each country. And like we were saying earlier, nice and uniform, every country has the same number of rows. And that allows us basically to calculate the percentage of years that the country was above the continental average. So we can just do a quick number of years above average divided by the number of years in total, which was that number of rows field, and then round that to 1 decimal place, multiplying by 100 as well, just to match Thomas's formatting there. Cool, so we've calculated that. Now let's think about the percentage change in life expectancy of each country. So the way that I decided to do this, there's definitely more than one ways to do this for sure, but I chose to use the percentage difference from calculations. So if I come and show you how I did that, I went to the country life expectancy, I went to create calculator field and percentage difference from. And this is where it gets a little bit weird. Well, once we've chosen what to order by, we're ordering by the years in ascending order. And rather than looking at the row above, I'm going to look 70 rows back to literally the first year in that data set. And I need to group that by each country, of course, otherwise it wouldn't make much sense. So we can see that, for example, for Haiti, we are getting about a 71% difference, and that is in 2020, and every other year has a null. So it's looking back towards that first value, looking in the future towards this value. And then to match the formatting of how we formatted the percentage that we were looking at before, I just need to multiply it by 100 and round it to one decimal place. So we've got a lot of nulls, but we have got those percentage change values, and we can just make sure that we bring those through as a maximum for each country, so that it will only bring through those values, none of the nulls. Okay, so this is the point that we are at. At this point, we've got those two metrics that we've calculated. We've got the countries and the continents. Now we want to find just the 3 countries per continent that have had the biggest improvement in life expectancy. And so we're going to do that with a filter. So we come to percentage change that we created. We do a rank, and we want to make sure that that is happening for each continent. And now we're just going to filter out the top 3. So we would go to detail, and we would do 1, 2, 3, holding down the control button, and just keep only. And that's what we're doing in that final step there. So that is Thomas's Preppin Data Challenge. Thank you very much to Thomas, and thank you very much for watching.